Today, we are messing with an assignment called business letters. The format we are using is called full block format. I like full block format because, first of all, it is super simple. You don't even need a full word processor to type something like this. You could type a letter like this in like Notepad, if you guys know what that is. So Google Docs, it doesn't matter. This is super simple. Even though it's simple, it's pretty formal. Okay, so you could use this to write a business letter, like letter of resignation or a letter of intent, or just about any kind of business communication that you would want to write. But overall, notice a couple of design features of this letter. First of all, notice that it says the margin should be from 1 to 1.5 inch. Well, 1 inch is a normal margin. Chances are your computer's already set for that, so don't mess with that. You're good to go. Notice down the left-hand side, there is nothing indented. Not even the beginning of the paragraph is indented, which sounds weird, seems odd, but that's a business thing. When you go to shove these in a filing cabinet, right, and you turn them sideways, that makes this left-hand side on the top, which makes it easier for you to find what you're looking for, okay? Notice the font is just regular size 12 professional font. You could literally use any professional font you wanted, but don't get creative with like different font sizes and cutesy stuff. They just wanted a professional size 12 font. Easy peasy, roll it out, right? Now, full block format is divided into blocks. That's why they call it full block format. The top block here, this block of text, this is the sender's block. That's whoever's sending the letter. Today, that's you. All right, so you put your name. There's 2 lines for address because addresses are always on 2 lines. Think about it. Your house number and your street is on the top, and then your city, state, zip is on the bottom, right? Phone number, the date that the letter is written or typed usually goes there. Okay, and then this last line is a little bit confusing to students because we don't think about it this way, but business, instead of saying title or subject, they call that a reference line. So this literally is just a subject for this letter. If I was going to write a letter, for instance, like a letter of resignation, this would be a perfect example or a perfect way to do that because this is formal yet simple. But my reference line would be capital R-E: Grimshaw letter of resignation, or letter of resignation, Brian Grimshaw, whatever. Keep it short, 5 to 7 words max. That's just a title for a subject for your letter, okay? That's how that works. Then you hit enter 4 times and you start the recipients block. This is who's going to get the letter. Now, the only thing that's confusing about this section is that it says recipient's name 3 times. That confuses people. But if you know how business does this, it's not so confusing. Here's why it says that. Like, if I was writing my letter of resignation, okay, on the top here, I would probably put administration, Valley High School, and then Valley's address, right? But there's 3 people in our administration. That's Mindy, Jacinto, and Sharon. Whose desk is my letter going to go on? I get to choose. I want my letter on Sharon's desk. I'm writing it to the whole administration. That lets Sharon know that she needs to tell everybody about it. But this is attention Sharon Jensen. That means the actual letter I send to them goes on her desk. All right, and then this would just be Dear Sharon or Dear Mrs. Jensen. So it says recipient's name 3 times, but that's not the same thing 3 times in a row. Okay, that's administration, Sharon Jensen, Dear Sharon. If you are writing a letter to an individual person, like if I was just writing a letter to Sharon, this would be Sharon Jensen, Valley High School, Valley's address. Then I would hit enter twice, completely ignore this attention line, and I would just do Dear Sharon. So in business, that's kind of a big deal. You need to tell them who is in charge of your letter with that attention line if you're sending it to a group. Now, the subject right here, for me, I would literally go up here and not copy the RE, but copy everything after the RE and paste it right down there. And then I would use my change case button to put it in uppercase, and that's the subject line. The subject right there is important because what it does is it divides Like if you're thumbing through on a filing cabinet, it divides the information of the letter from what's actually written. So all that top stuff is divided from the actual content of the letter. Here's the main body of your letter. For me today, for this assignment, you are going to type 2 letters with 2 paragraphs in each letter. Keep the paragraphs super short. All right, notice these 2 paragraphs, there are 2 sentences each. Business letters are designed to fit on 1 page. If you're going to a multiple page, you're probably typing too much. All right, so the main body, 2 letters today, 2 paragraphs each. After you get done with the main text in your letter, you hit enter twice, and then you start what's called the signature block. Now, you see these all over the place. You see these even in emails a lot of times. Okay, the signature. Basically, you hit enter 2 times, you give your goodbye. In this case, in the letter example, it's sincerely, but it could be whatever. So you say goodbye, comma, and then you hit enter 4 times. Right here where this says signature, you don't put anything. This space is for what in business they call a wet ink signature. And there are still some laws surrounding documentation in the business world that they must have a wet ink signature for things. That means that you give your goodbye, comma, you hit enter 4 times when you're typing your letter so that it leaves a nice big old fat white space right there for you to sign it with a pen. Now, we're not going to print these out and you're not going to sign them unless you really want to. They're going to go from your computer to my computer to your grade, just like everything else in here. But I need to know that you know that that space is left blank for a wet ink signature. So don't put anything there. Say your goodbye, comma, enter, 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 enter. Then you type your name and your title. Now the title, this is your title, not the letter's title. Okay, I took care of that with the reference line on the subject. Now here's what I mean by your title. Let's say you were writing a letter to Sharon Jensen, the principal of Valley High School. What would your title be in that case? Student, because when you're at Valley, that's who you are. See what I'm saying? But here's the funny thing about titles. They change depending on who you're writing your letter to. You're the same person. But if you're at work, is your title still student? No, if you're writing a letter to your boss, your title is going to be like customer service rep or front end manager or associate or cashier or whatever it is you do for that company. Here's why the title is super important in business. Sometimes in business, you're talking about hundreds or even thousands of people could be part of your business. I mean, think about it. How many people do you think work for Amazon? And if I worked for Amazon and I wanted to write a letter to Jeff Bezos, he owns the place, right? Does he know my name? Probably not. But if I put my title on there and my title is, manager, Salt Lake City, warehouse number 15, then he knows where to come find me. Even though he doesn't know who I am, he doesn't know my name, he can figure it out with just that title. That's why that's important. So, your name, comma, title. Nothing in the signature block. Okay, and then the last thing, these initials. These are kind of a business secret code. What these initials mean is that the person who typed the letter is not the person whose name is in the sender's block. Now, why the heck would the person sending the letter not be typing the letter? Well, think about it. Do you think a person like Jeff Bezos, who makes $1 jillion every minute, sits down and types his own letters? Or does he have people for that? That's what this initial is all about. These are the initials of the person who actually sat down and typed the letter. They only show up when the person who typed it is different than the person who the letter's from, which happens a lot in big business. So if you're getting a letter and you see the initials down at the bottom, you know that the person that sent it to you didn't actually type it, which kind of adjusts your attitude towards that letter a little bit, doesn't it? If you wanted to know stuff going on in this letter, you might have to start kind of down low and work your way up, because somebody down low typed the letter for somebody high up. So if you scroll down, you'll see there's a whole bunch of instructions there. We already talked about all of that, so you don't have to read those. Down at the bottom of this document, there are 2 blank pages. 2 blank pages for 2 business letters. You would start a business letter by basically erasing this text and typing your name, right? Because that's how letters start. If you really wanted to view the letter example, you could use your split screen trick. If that's what you want to do, that's fine. I do not care who you write the letters to. You can literally write a letter to Sasquatch and the Easter Bunny for all I care. It doesn't matter to me. But if you can't think of somebody to write the letter to, scroll up a little bit, and there's 2 example letters you could write just to people at Valley. Valley's address is in there, and everything should be good to go.